really peculiar, so I don't even have to explain anything. So if the illustration is good enough, we will be able to perceive it no matter if the artist is present or no matter if we are reading the article. So this is obviously something that is playing on the delicate and strong, and there is also a strong sense of visual surprise. So please, when you try to create something, also try to create something that is unusual in terms of combination. So combine two things over there, create a hybrid, and things are going to be good. So things are going to be there, and you will be able to connect with the audience. And this is also a very, very simple idea, but obviously something that is connected to the words and ideas. And of course, you know that words and ideas and whatever we say, sometimes it could be really fragile or perishable. So this is a beautiful comment on this one. You've probably heard an expression, building a castle in the sky. So this is a beautiful comment about the human idealism. So to create the dreams and hopes and plans that are impossible or unrealistic or have a little chance, a very little chance of succeeding. So subtle visual comments on idealism and utopia. This one is the composition also made by the use of opposition, so we can see the position of the human body that is limp, and then suddenly we see something that is really aggressive, and we can connect. So this is the guy that is trying to save some money, this is the guy that is concerned about the earnings and about the economy and about everything that we are experiencing on a daily basis. This is, of course, a beautiful example of key to the human mind, what is going on inside of our minds and how do we think. And of course, please note the rendering of a key as a brain. It's also a maze, so our thoughts are always there. This is a very, very important image from the history of graphic design and illustration, and this is one of my favorite artists. His name is Robert Crumb. He's a legend of American underground comics from the 60s and 70s and 80s. Fritz the Cat, Mr. Natural. So he's really a legend. And what I want to tell you about this image is it's also a personal story, because my sister and I used to play this record over and over and over again until my father just opened up the door and said, "Stop it. That's enough. It's too loud and very boring." So what could I do? I just put this record sleeve in my hands and then just observe this beautiful image and so many stories on the actual record cover. And also it captures a lot about 60s America, so this famous image perfectly depicts the spirit of 60s America, so hippie movement, rock and roll, civil rights movement, and San Francisco atmosphere. So this is also famous because of the High Street, where Crumb used to sell his first issues of Zap comics. As well, and probably the reason why I became illustrator. And this is also an example of sequential approach to visual storytelling. So sequential illustration with a strong focal point. So inside of this is a ball and chain. This is Janis Joplin and his band, Big Brother and Holding Company. And you can actually go around the composition, and then finally it drags you inside of the composition and you see the focal point. This guy is Thomas Fuchs. He is a very famous German illustrator. He works mostly for the editorial design, and you can see this simplicity in terms of combination. So obviously the topic was the violence in the schools, in America, globally as well. And when you observe the chair in the schools, so he figured out that this handrest is actually could be the gun as well. So there is very subtle rotation in the meaning, so there is opposition in the meaning. So visual metaphor, it uses similarities in the shape, and also of course sinister color, disturbing light source setting, and so on. Very, very beautiful image, and of course very, very toned down because it needs to be accompanied with typography. So it is meant to be perceived in the magazine, so it's different. So I will tell you a little bit about the rendering a little bit later. This is Franz Nosuriel. So this is considered to be first comic book, actually first graphic novel in history. This one was published, if I'm not mistaken, in 1918 in Germany. He's a Belgian artist, and these are 25 images of a man passion, or the passion of a man. and it is the first wordless novel by a Flemish artist. The silent story is about a young working class man who leads a revolt against his employer, and he's masterfully using property of materials in the final execution. So I would like to tell you something about this one, because this one is just a woodcut. So it's like an ancient medieval technique with cutting the woods. But the funny thing is, if you want to achieve something that is really strong, something that is having a lot of contrast, you're going to do this because the lines and the shapes over there are going to have the fuzzy edges, and this is going to affect the viewer's mind as well. And the fact that this is very strong in terms of black and white creates a lot of tension, a lot of features. So there is no surprise for this guy to be really, really successful. And believe it or not, during the 20s in Germany, because of the circumstances in the German state, this book was sold in more than 200,000 copies. So it's just unbelievable, even for today's standards. And Will Eisner later on coined this expression, put this guy into the book, and call it a graphic novel. So it's the first time actually that you are going to tell the story to the broader audience without using of the words, which is amazing. And a couple of more images. I would like to repeat one more time, the choice of materials and techniques is going to affect the way the audience is going to perceive the image and the narrative as well. And this is a little bit different. So this is Emiliano Ponzi. Emiliano is a very successful Italian illustrator, and he's a regular contributor to New Yorker, a magazine from New York. And as you can see, very subtle comment. I will not tell you anything about the topics of the articles, but I believe that you can grasp it really quickly, because there is a combination, of course, because on the left image, something that is a welcoming symbol in the Pacific cultures, but also because of the level of the water. This is a very subtle comment about the global warming and about the environment. And this one on the right side is education and life and growing up and brain drain as well. He's a master of achieving a lot with the use of very, very few things. And of course, this one is about the emotions, about the loss and grief and loneliness and missing as well. I like this artist a lot. So this is a Canadian graphic designer. So she's a legend. So her name is Marion Badger. She's from British Columbia, and she's very famous for many, many things. But one of the things that I like a lot is her ability to change the material. So she's experimenting with a lot of stuff. So on Monday I'm going to give you a lecture about the importance of the sketchbook. By the way, can you raise the hands, whoever brought the sketchbook today? Two guys over there, three. That's good. So from now on, if you are in creative industry or if you want to create a story, your sketchbook is going to be there. So the writers are writing the story every day. David Beckham is kicking the ball every single morning, and we are going to do the same thing. So this is just going to be just a routine, so morning routine for you from now on. And this is also an image about the iteration. So you have one idea, and you develop this idea in different ways. So this is also trying out the different versions of the same idea and the narrative. This one on the left is just a pencil on paper and about the human interaction. And this one on the right is commissioned by the New York Times Book Review, which is pretty famous in the world of newspaper and also in the world of literature. And she wanted to achieve something that is very personal, very sweet, and very warm. And she was using a watercolor. And on her website, she's explaining this, the image on the right, that she wanted to capture the emotion, but also something that is subtle as a rain or subtle as tears, which is phenomenal, and also very delicate implication that some of the tears over there or the drops are red, so it might be the blood or it might be the makeup. So she's inviting us to perceive the story already, so we are hooked. So the moment when we observe this image, we are immediately hooked. And she's using a plasticine as well, and this is about the playfulness, about the children as well. and property of materials used. So she's like moving back and forth with very different kinds of materials, and I think you should do the same thing. I don't mind being a digital guy because I do this thing a lot, but I am putting my students in situation in illustration and animation to change the habits, to use a dry brush or to use a charcoal or to use something that is unusual. So especially in stop motion animation, you can use whatever. You can just put a paper and then move it on a table, and you are going to have an interesting idea already. And next one is Boris Sebastian. So he's an amazing guy. He was very active during the 40s and 50s and 60s in America, and believe it or not, this was pencil. So this was, everything is rendered by the hand. So his graphic style is striking, and he explored the grotesque experiments in anthropomorphism, where tolling machines display distinctly human attributes. So the combination of how we are becoming mechanical. Just try to remember that this was in the 50s. So we can connect to these images even in the 21st century, because we are moving to the era where we are becoming machines. So we are depending on technology. Our smartphones are always there. Google is always there. So this is a very interesting how he captured all these things in the 50s in America. And of course, the industry, environment, and many other things. And of course, with a good artist, the idea seems to be always fresh and up to date. And this guy is also fresh and up to date even today. So if you're reading the news this morning, so there is too many things not to be concerned. And this guy is Georg Gross. He's a German expressionist artist, of course, during the 20s and 30s in Germany. And the reason why he was so successful, and the reason why he's there already in all the books of history of art, is actually his ability to comment some social issues within the society. Of course, the rendering is just a black and white, nip pan, jagged line, very strong stylizations, a little bit of proportion that are slightly off, and exaggeration as well.